Hello everyone, what is up? Welcome back to another video. We have been doing a lot of Cobi reviews recently and there are more to come. It is me, the Review Master 19 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Unterseeboot, which in German is undersea boat. This is a U-boat, not just a U-boat, this is Cobi's U96 Type 7C German U-boat. Let's get into the model, because there's a lot to talk about. Okay, so quick history background. The Type 7C German U-boat was probably one of the most successful U-boat versions to be built. I believe over 1,000 of them were built, and most of them were sunk quicker than they could, or destroyed quicker than they could build them. So the Type 7C is the competitor to the Type 2B, which is the lighter version of the Type 7. In U-boat terms, you have the Type 2Bs, which carry light anti-aircraft guns like the Finnish Vesico. You've got the Type 2Bs and Cs and Type 2As, and then you've got the Type 7Cs and then the Bs as well. And then there were the Type 9s, which were the massive ones, and then you have the midget submarines, and then you have the Electroboot. So yeah, let's take a look at the details of the model. So disclaimer, the U-boat is not actually a submarine. It is a boat which can go underwater. Submarines, which are supposed to be underwater for many hours at a time, you know, like the nuclear ones, run on nuclear power. This version of the submarine, as many World War II ones, were powered by electric engines, where the electric engines were powered by electric engines in this section, and they would be used to basically, when the U-boat would submerge, they would use electric engines for underpower, and they could basically go underwater for a specific amount of time. 171 meters, I think, or 200 meters the U-boat could go. Any further than that, and it would crush the hull. Now, let's talk about how a U-boat and submarine works. So the U-boat is quite an interesting thing, because unlike most submarines and many other ones, the U-boat was commanded by many different aces, and from the years of 1939 to 1945, 1939 was the easiest time, when U-boats were literally just absolutely obliterating Allied convoys and merchant shipping as such. They was very successful, and the Type 7C was probably one of the most best U-boats to come about. So these holes here you see are the vents, so when the U-boat would surface, these would vent out the water from when it would submerge. When the U-boat was submerged, the deck gun had a little cap on it. I'm pretty sure you've seen it in movies and stuff where they'll have the circle. But the deck gun on the U-boat was a Flak 88. Yes, you know that famous gun that's on the Tiger and can literally smash through anything. Yeah, well, they stuck it on all sorts. The Germans were crazy during World War II, and on the Cobi model, you've got the rails, and a crew of 2 could man this, and they could fire these custom shells, and they would only use the deck gun if their shipping target wasn't sunk, or if it was a light ship, they could, you know, slam a few rounds into it and it could be sunk easier. Only problem is you're on the surface, so nighttime attacks would be best. And the reason why U-boats would submerge is either to recharge the batteries. Staying submerged for long periods of time, you're going to sink and your engines aren't going to work and your battery's going to die. Whether if you surface, your batteries will charge and you can run on diesel engines, which are in this section here, I think. And diesel engines, you could basically go very fast on the U-boat and not worrying about losing fuel and such. Whether we're submerging, it's mainly an evasive maneuver. So the 88mm gun was just a primarily, you know, use. Disclaimer, the flagpole on the model I have switched over from Graf Zeppelin, because in my opinion the flag on the Cobi U-boat is too big. The flag post is there, and I swapped out the original anti-aircraft gun for this really nice one which we've got again from Graf Zeppelin, which I borrowed. So, and it looks better as well. So the U-boat the Type 2Bs would be armed with a flak gun. The Type 7Cs would be armed with a flak 88 deck gun. And then they would have, I believe, some sort of flak 15 or something. And then they'd have MG42s on the sides for crew. And crew could also have MP40s. So, the front of the U-boat is called the stern. This here is, many people call it a shark's tooth. The correct name for it is a ram 9. And what this is it was a anti-net device. So if, for example, Scarpa Flow, if you know what that is, you'll know, U-boat Commander Gunther Preen of U47 basically got his U-boat through the Scarpa Flow, and this would be able to cut the Allied nets. They didn't remove it because, you know, it looks menacing and it looks cool and it gives it that specific U-boat look. Here you've got down here the bow torpedo tubes. You have 2 on each side, a total of 4, and you've got 1 in the stern, which is 5. So you've got 5 torpedo tubes. So the torpedo tube doors could go inward. On this model they don't, and they would fire their fish, as they called them. The U-boat had 1 anchor, which was on the bow on the right side, I believe. And the deck is very nice here because it goes this way. This is a hatch where the crew could go in. This bit here is called the conning tower. And this is basically where the crew and the commander would seat out when they were on the surface, and then they would dive along the U-boat, and they would dive, and they would do evasive maneuvers and such. So, a really, really cool thing about this, right, is you've got 2 periscopes. You've got the attack periscope, and then you've got your regular periscope. And these actually go up on the Cobi model. You just twist them like that. You can twist this one as well. You can remove them if you want. But yeah, really cool. And then I love the way Cobi have done this to achieve the cage conning tower effect. They've just used 2 translucent clear pieces. You've also got these... I originally thought they were radars, but they're actually masts. And then you've got another escape hatch, and then the stern of the, or the bow of the U-boat. Let's talk about the other features of the U-boat. So an interesting fact about U-boats is this bulge here. These are the ballast tanks. And what these do is when the U-boat surfaces, when the U-boat's on the surface, the air is out. Or the air's in. So all of the compressed air is inside the U-boat. When they want to submerge, they basically vent the air out. So the air can go out, and the air, some of it will go in the water here, and then it will submerge. And the U-boat could submerge really deep, actually. It was quite impressive how it could submerge. But yeah, on the model, you've got the laughing swordfish, the U96 emblem. And this is the regular Cobi version. So in the Cobi version, you get this awesome sweet stand, which says, U-boat U96 Type 7 seat, scale 144, 144 scale. It's really cool. Cobi have started including their stands in their nice models. So, yeah, the ballast tanks work like that. And if they're damaged well, you're going to have problems and you're going to sink. Another thing about U-boats is the engines. So the U-boats were powered by 2 just regular engines, which were connected to the electric and diesel. These here are your bow dive planes. And what these would do is they move, when you move down, you go up, and when you move up, you move down. These are the rudders for the U-boat to move left and right, and the propellers on the model do spin, but I wouldn't recommend it because they are very stiff. And yeah, they do move as well to, you know, do the pitch and elevation. And then in here would be the bow torpedo tube. The stern. Yeah, the front's the bow. I've been getting that wrong. The stern. So, another cool thing is, yeah, you also have your front dive planes, which could be controlled by these little hand wheels on the inside. But yeah, you put them down, the U-boat goes up. You put them up, the U-boat goes up. The U-boat goes up. Put them down. Sorry, wait. So the U-boat, if you put them down, the U-boat goes up. You put them up, the U-boat goes down. There we go. And the U-boats were really dangerous during World War II. And the only way the Allies could counterattack them is when we came up with Huffduff, which was high frequency device, I think. Huffduff. High something frequency, I think. And before that, we would have to spot them with aircraft, and we could only spot them in the day and at night, and we could attack a U-boat. Problem being, U-boats have a thing in them called hydrophones, and what that does is, you know what pings are. Well, U-boats, when a radar, the Allies came to find the U-boats, like in Greyhound, very good film, highly recommend it. When the U-boats would be detected, it would ping the sound waves of the U-boat off the U-boat, so they would know there's a U-boat presence. U-boats before the war could counter this. They could send decoy charges, decoys as they call them, little spinning bomb capsule things, and it would confuse the enemy. U-boats are very weak. They're not very strong if they were hit. If you're hitting the conning tower, you're dead. If you're hitting any bit, you're dead. Yeah, not a very nice thing to be in. And a total U-boat could carry a crew of 50 men. And it's very cramped and small. They are big in real life, but inside they are very cramped and small. And another thing about the model before we end the video is it's such a cool model. And in a minute, I'm going to do a little montage and just be quiet for a minute, and I'm going to show you the beautiful model of U96. And apart from that, guys, that is U-boat U96 Type 7C. Other than that, the model includes a Stanley U-boat, movable attack periscopes, movable gun. You can move the flagpole, you can spin the engines and the stern and the bow planes and the rudder, and you can move the things. I hope that Cobi makes a full-scale U-boat one day with firing torpedoes. That would be really cool. But other than that, guys, take care, like, share, and subscribe. It's free. And in the next video, we will be doing a review of the Lancaster. Stay tuned.